Welcome to Girl Choose Yourself, where we're trading self-doubt for self-trust and settling for soaring. I'm Emer Zone, your host, and together we're building the confidence to create lives so deliciously bold that they scare us a little, but in the best possible way. Because life's too precious to stay cozy in our comfort zones. It's time to choose ourselves for lives that are fabulous and soulfully fulfilling. So let's go. Welcome back to the podcast. And today is a special day in that it is episode 50. And today I was going to release a really special guest interview, but I've decided to move that out a week into March and to have it very close to International Women's Day. And today, instead of that episode, I've decided that I want to insert a breath into this moment. And you may not know this about me, but I am a certified mindfulness meditation teacher. And I trained in that discipline, not because I was looking for another credential, but because I was really drawn to this practice and found it incredibly beneficial in my own life. And I coach women around confidence and visibility and ambition and leadership. But underneath all of that is a deep connection to who you are, a deep tuning into that, and training our attention to be able to do that, to access that part of ourselves and to be able to give it space and voice. And how we relate to our own minds is key. So today I want to share something very practical. I want to invite you into this practice. And I'm going to share with you what exactly mindfulness is, why it matters, how it can really be life-changing, and then guide you in a short introductory practice. I don't know about you, but I feel that the world around us can feel quite chaotic at times, maybe particularly now in the world. There's a lot going on. And personally, I've found it so beneficial to have this practice, to be able to lean more deeply into it and through it to be able to feel steady in a world that often feels quite chaotic. So what is mindfulness? At its simplest, mindfulness is paying attention on purpose to the present moment without judgment. So it's really connecting to the bare experience. It's knowing what is happening while it is happening. Because most of the time we're not really here. We're not here. You know this feeling. You're driving in your car somewhere and you're on autopilot. You barely remember the journey. Or maybe you're in that meeting and you're mentally elsewhere. You're planning dinner or your to-do list. We're replaying yesterday, things that we're worried about, or we're rehearsing tomorrow, and our mind wanders. And that's normal. Our brains developed also a negativity bias, which I've spoken about before. We're scanning for danger. We're scanning for what might go wrong. And that is something that kept our ancestors alive when we lived in a very dangerous environment, a precarious life we were living. But in modern life, that negativity bias and that scanning for the threat, it fuels stress, comparison, self-criticism. It disconnects us. It leaves us disconnected and detached from the richness of the moment that's right here now. So mindfulness doesn't stop our thinking. It's not about empty your mind. It really is about changing our relationship to thinking. So instead of being dragged along by the mind wherever it's jumping to the future or picking over our past, Instead of becoming what the mind is attached to, for example, anxiety, we observe it. We allow it to be there without entanglement. And that creates a lot of space. And why does that matter? I've used this, or I've shared this quote from Viktor Frankl many times, and it bears repeating. And this is what he said: between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space lies our freedom. And mindfulness is training us to find that space and that freedom. Without mindfulness, the reaction is automatic. Between that stimulus, what happens, and our response, there's no space. We create so much space with mindfulness. Life expands. And with mindfulness, response, conscious, intentional, thoughtful response is possible and becomes our norm. We feel so much more anchored and steady. In a world where our attention is constantly being hijacked, the notifications, the scrolling, just the noise of everyday life, to be able to pause, to be able to pay attention, to be able to sink into the richness of now is quite a radical act, and it's beautiful, and it serves us deeply. It nourishes us. It's a self-reclamation. And whatever we practice gets stronger. If we're practicing through habit distraction, then distraction strengthens. If we are practicing worry, then worry strengthens. And so too, if we practice deep presence through mindfulness, well, that presence strengthens. And so we practice gently and consistently. So with mindfulness, we speak about 4 foundations. It's traditionally cultivated across these 4 foundations, 4 fields of experience, if you will, that we can pay attention to. We can cultivate our attention in these different fields. And the first one is mindfulness of the body. And this is where we typically begin. It's the breath, it's physical sensations, it's our posture. The body is always in the present moment, right? And it also tells us the truth. It tells you when you're bracing. It tells you when you're tight, you're anxious, you're tense. And most of us live from the neck up. So mindfulness brings us back into this complete organism of our body, the full physiology of this body that we move through the world inhabiting. And then the second foundation is mindfulness of feeling tone. Before a full-blown emotion arises, there is a very quick nervous system signal. And that might be pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. It's like that first ping before an emotion is generated. We usually react instantly, grasping after the pleasant or pushing away unpleasant and ignoring the neutral. But when we begin to notice, bring mindful attention to that first reaction, we interrupt that chain, and that can become truly, truly powerful in how we are experiencing our lives. The third foundation is mindfulness of thoughts, of the mind. Here we observe the mind itself. Is the mind restless? Is it judging, planning, comparing? Is it calm? We begin to see thoughts as products of our mind, as events happening within the plane of awareness, not facts, not identity. And that shift alone is very liberating. And the fourth foundation is mindfulness of mental patterns. And this is about recognizing different categories of experience. Instead of being caught in the story, we step back and recognize patterns. Recognition creates space. So we're not going to tackle all of that today. Today we begin where most practices begin, and that is with mindfulness of the body. And often we begin with the breath. It doesn't have to be the breath. For some people, the breath can be difficult. If you're asthmatic, if you have a breathing difficulty, my husband can't breathe very comfortably through his nose. So for him, he would not find mindfulness of the breath something that would be a great place for him to start. And if that's true for you too, you can just focus on a part of your body. Often what can be helpful is just placing your hands on your thighs and just concentrating on that connective point. So I just want to invite you into a short practice to get a feel for this. Obviously, if you're driving listening to this, or you're in a space where you can't do this, then just listen along, but don't engage in the actual full practice. So you want to gently close your eyes, if that feels safe and comfortable for you. And then just begin to notice your breath. You might like to take one slightly deeper breath and just release it. Allowing your breath now to find just a natural rhythm, not controlling it. And on the inhalation, you just might notice the very tip of your nose. Just notice how that breath feels as you inhale through your nose. No controlling, no optimizing. Just your attention on the breath. Noticing the in-breath and noticing the out-breath. And your mind will wander, and that's normal. And every moment that you notice that your mind has wandered, that's a moment of mindfulness. You're not lost in thought anymore, you're back. So bringing it back time and again, gently. It's almost like training a puppy. Returning to the breath, the inhalation and the exhalation. Nothing to do, nothing to fix. Just here, in this moment. And if the thinking mind starts to catch your attention, it can be helpful to just label it thinking, and then bringing your attention back to this is an in-breath. No judgment, just this breath. And this one, and this one. And now take a slightly deeper breath. Big exhale. Feel your body in this space. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And that's it. It's simple, but not always easy. But that simple practice is the beginning. It's opening the door to reclaiming your presence in your life, in your experience of your life. You don't have to sit for 20 minutes. You don't have to set the bar really high. I think the magic here is just 5 minutes a day. You with your breath being here, and you will be surprised what that short amount can do for you, because it is the beginning of reclaiming yourself. And you will notice more and more in the moments where you are caught in thought, caught in emotion, caught up outside of this true experience of your being in this world. And you will begin to see that you can bring yourself back to the moment, to connect and to be here now. So as we move forward into March towards a month of celebrating women, power, visibility, let's not forget this. Power without presence is unstable. Mindfulness is really the doorway to this steadiness in life. It's not self-care fluff, okay? It is really training your attention, reclaiming your mind, and creating expansive space for you to really inhabit your experience in a profound way and to respond from a place of deeper knowing and deeper wisdom. So before I sign off, thank you for being with me in these 50 episodes. Whether you've been here from the beginning or you're just finding the podcast now and tuning in, I'm so grateful that you're here. Next week we move into March, but this week, just take a breath. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye. Thanks so much for tuning into the episode this week. I hope you got a lot out of it, and if you did, please share it with somebody who you feel would benefit. And leave a review. Always greatly appreciated. Lots of free and paid resources to take things a step further. You can find those in the show notes. And hey, if nobody's told you this yet today, you are amazing, and the world is a far more beautiful place because you're here with us all. Stay cool. Bye.